Ladies and gentlemen, the following the Wrestling Fans Podcast Ringside Society proudly presents to you 15 minutes of fandom. That's right. What we do here is we actually take the spotlight and put it on one wrestling fan that we feel stands out from the rest at this moment. With that being said, in one corner we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, especially on today, Tuesday, he always asks for a cheap burrito because he loves the combination of chicken and beef. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second quarter, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching. Where's he going next? Nobody knows. 3 continents down, 3 more to go. No cap, straight facts. The worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. You see, our special guest tonight is not only a wrestling fan, he is also a fellow podcaster. That's right. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him last year at the TWG 4th anniversary. Shout out to Queen PR and Krista B. He's also the host of the Victorious Ones podcast. Everybody, welcome to the show, King Vaughn Jr. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. Look, I'm honored. Thank you very much for the intro. I felt like a champ. I wish I would have had my belt on my shoulder, but man, that's an incredible intro. Like, yeah, you got to be an announcer for real to do something like that, man. Is that I felt special, just man, I felt like a champ just by that intro.
Yeah, we aim to make it a fun place, man. So the whole announcer thing. I mean, I probably took some tips from Rob, who actually does ring announcing on the side. A little bit of Road Dogg, a little bit of Justin Roberts, some Howard Finkel. I just yell and hope I sound good. But yeah, yeah, man. So how's everything, man? I mean, you've been on our radar for a hot minute, man. And like I said, if it took us a while, man, and this goes to everybody else, if it takes us a while to get to you, it's because I'm like Professor X. It's not a matter of who I should have on the show. No, it's not a matter of if I can have somebody. It's when, because for those of you that read comics, like I said, and Rob is probably tired. Rob is probably tired of hearing me say this for the 100th time. It's like he goes into Cerebro. He goes into that special room, puts on Cerebro. And it's not a matter of if he can find mutants, it's who needs it, like who needs help the most and ASAP. And that's what's going on with me. It's not a matter if I can find somebody, it's who I should have on first. Because we got King Vaughn, but then we got Queen PR over there from those wrestling girls. But then we got Sir Wilkins from Jobber Tears, and then you got LA Wrestle Chick who's over in Los Angeles. Shout out to LA Wrestle Chick. It's like it's just so many people, so little time, but we try our best to get to y'all. So don't think that we're snubbing y'all. We want y'all on the show. There's no prerequisites. There's no special criteria. You just have to be a fan, love the sport, and we'll definitely find somewhere for you to be on the show. Whether it's 15 minutes of fandom, which is this segment, whether it's our flagship show, Ringside Society, or our other limited series, Lariats and Legacies, which actually features the children of wrestling legends as well. That's another little segment we have going on. We'll definitely find a place for you. But enough about us, man. Vaughn, tell us, man. King Vaughn, tell us. How did it start? How did the fandom for the King start? What was the wrestling match or the pay-per-view that made you go, yo, I'm tuning in next week. I'm tuning in the week after. Hey, you know what? Forget it. Y'all got a fan in me. How'd it happen for you, brother?
Man, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint a specific pay-per-view because the thing is, because the thing for me is that I started like watching like at the time of like the New Generation era, like the WWF Raw's War Games, like the Bret Harts, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Razor, guys like that. And so I would probably say if there was in a particular event. Like it's really hard for me to pinpoint that, at least at least at the time of a specific event. But all I know is that I won't answer your question, but the thing is, I know that I think just the Bret Hart presentation for me, you know what I mean, just for the way that he carried himself as a champion, you know what I mean, whether it was like WrestleMania 10 or like afterwards, you know what I mean, like, you know, those like at least that at least like, you know, at least like that particular like time frame, you know what I mean, you know, because the thing is, like, Bret looked like a, you know, actually like looked like a superhero to me. You know what I mean? Like with the leather jacket, you know, especially with the shoulder pads, sunglasses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was him. You know what I mean? And also Shawn Michaels as well. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like those guys were kind of like the linchpins for me when it came to just the way that I got hooked on, you know, on being a fan. But the first WrestleMania that I remember like us actually ordering, really, believe it or not, was probably like WrestleMania 14 actually, you know. And so especially like Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels, that main event was, you know what I mean, like I said, I vividly remember like it was yesterday. Like I remember, like, you know, because Tyson was involved, so of course, because of that, my dad actually ordered you know, WrestleMania 14 for us, and that was so significant in so many ways because I was a fan of both Austin and HBK. You know what I mean? So that was one of the ones that just kept me glued, just kept me stuck on, you know, on what I love even today.
That's awesome. You actually started watching at a great time because that's when you had, like, you know, Shawn Michaels, you had Stone Cold, you had The Rock, you know, you had several superstars. And granted, they weren't the most athletic wrestlers at the time. Don't They were athletic, but like compared to like the Attitude Era, not well, the Ruthless Aggression era, and even wrestling today, they didn't have to do that much to gain like the fans' respect, or, you know, or gain fans for that matter. Back then, they just, you know, had to be good on the mic and know how to show out. So that was a very, like, great time to watch wrestling. Not a great time if you were like a preteen, like if you were like a 9, 10-year-old, because I mean, come on, let's be honest. Which parents would actually let their 10-year-old watch D-Generation X go, hey, suck it? You know what I'm saying? Well, Rob, your parents were like, I don't know, they're kind of like cool. Like, they just didn't give no damns. they,
I mean, you know, you know, and thing is like, the thing is like Rob's no different because like after all, my, you know, like I say after all, my parents ordered WrestleMania 14 for me, and so I was like 8 going on 9 at the time. You know what I mean? You know, so as far as that, I mean, I was born in 1989, so you know what I mean. So I was, you know, like I said, probably, like you know, because I turned 9, because the thing is, I turned 9 that year, so. You know, so so if anything, you know, they had no problem with me watching Stone Cold Steve Austin. No problem getting WWF Attitude and, you know, WrestleMania 2000 and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like whatever. You know, and the thing is, you know, and plus the thing is, they liked Austin. You know, they knew he was entertaining. You know what I mean? So it was just like that was just the society that we were in at that time. You know. Some of the stuff that you look back on, you know, not outside of Austin the Rock, not so much.
yeah, it was the Attitude Era was good for the time it was in. A lot of stuff probably wouldn't fly now, but it was a good time. It was an interesting time at the time, and you know that's what it is. It's an era. And eras come and eras go. You know, just like the Ruthless Aggression. To me, so I gotta ask you. So obviously you were there for, you know, the Attitude Era. You know, you started watching in '98, like around the mid '90s, late '90s, and then obviously you were there for the Ruthless Aggression era. I'd assume. Which one do you like out of the two? Me personally, I like the Ruthless Aggression era because that was like the just right era. You had a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Not too much of one thing, but you had everything. It was pretty level. Which one was your favorite?
I would say from a business and storyline standpoint, it's the Attitude Era. But if you want to talk about match quality in terms of like just deep competition, oh, it's ruthless aggression all day. You know what I mean? Like, because the thing is, like you said, that there was a perfect blend when it came to ruthless aggression. You had
Right.
a deep roster. You know what I mean? Because the things, even though you had like Rock Awesome, at the tail end, tail end of everything, and then you also had your John Cena's, your Kurt Angles, like I say, like early John Cena, you had Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Batista, Angle, such. Taker was still around. Shawn Michaels just came back. Triple H was at the height of his, at the height of his game, no pun intended. Jericho, you know what I mean? Eddie won the title at the time. So I would say when it came to just quality, just pure, just overall, just wrestling itself, just quality match. I would have, as much as I love Austin Rock, I would go with this aggression, just because there was more from a roster standpoint. Now, if you want to talk about storyline in terms of business and impact, probably go with the Attitude Era, because without the Attitude Era, we wouldn't have won the Monday Night War.
Right. Right.
So right, but yeah. So just like,
yeah.
Honestly, I go with both. I don't even care.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I was able to catch both though, because that time was. Whew,
yeah.
That was definitely a crazy time to be a wrestling fan. Both times, actually, the word. So I gotta ask you, growing up, did you ever get to go to any of the shows, like the WB shows or anything?
Oh yeah, I did. I know I went to a WCW house show in '98, and so I think they had like Sting versus Goldberg and Bret Hart there, and also my first pay per view that I went to was Backlash in 2000 here in DC, and that was the night that The Rock beat Triple H to win the WWE title. And so, and the thing I remember was also when Stone Cold came out and just knocked everybody, just swinging in the chair and knocking everybody out. And I was looking back on it, I'm thinking to myself, that's what should have happened to Rock beating Triple H is what should have happened in WrestleMania 2000, instead of having it, like the whole fatal 4-way to type of thing with McMahon's in every corner, all that type of stuff. It should have just been flat out Rock versus Triple H like they did at Backlash. Like I said, I was there for that. That was my first pay per view. The next pay per view that I went to was SummerSlam 2005, as we all know. Infamous Shawn Michaels versus Mr. Red and Yellow, Hulk Hogan. As far as that, you had Undertaker versus Randy Orton, John Cena versus Jericho, Batista versus JBL. That was the same pay per view that they had the Dominic custody ladder match. You know what I mean? So I was there for that. So it was myself and a friend of mine. Both fans for years and years, and so and it was actually the night before the school year started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started the school year with a bang. You probably went in there like you was the man. I would have too.
Oh my God! Tell me about it. Like who else? Like, I mean, regardless of how we feel about him now, but the fact that who else can say that they saw Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan in a ring together, in one night, and then not only that, but also like since before all that stuff happened. But the thing about it was that like I said, and if, in fact, this was the night before I started my 11th grade year, and so like I said, I mean, like to come back to school, start school after SummerSlam. I mean, like who else can say that? You know what I mean? So that was a huge experience, and so later on I started going to WrestleMania. But like I said, those early events, like I said, were foundational.
That's that Dominic story, and man, I bet. So looking back at it now, right? I mean, Dominic he was what 9 years old. Like, what goes through your mind? Yeah, he was 8 years old. What goes through your mind, like seeing Dominic from that point, and now you see him a whole grown man wrestling with some of the best, Seth Rollins. Soon he's gonna wrestle Cody Rhodes. he wrestled his own father, Rey Mysterio. He's rubbing shoulders with, Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor and Damian Priest in the Judgment Day. What's your mindset like seeing how he is now and then seeing him back then? You yourself being young, still in high school and whatnot.
Right.
What goes through your mind when you see him?
Oh man, I mean, like for one, to think that the fact that he's older than Braun Breaker is crazy by like 6 months though. Both Braun Breaker and Austin Theory. So, and the thing is, see him back then, and look at him now. Actually, just straight up mind blowing. But also the fact that he's been, he's been in the position for greatness, for success, and so and for him to rub shoulders with, with the best of the best, and of course with with your father being a legend. You know what I mean? And so it's just like it's in your DNA to actually be great. And so of course he has this heelish character, but at the same time, like he's being prominently featured because he's the future. They're investing. Like he's one of those future investments that they have. Other than the guys at NXT. Like I said, it's just something about him. Like initially, you would have thought well, maybe we should have gone to NXT and spend some more time there. But like because of who he is, it's just like it's like a natural thing to him when it comes to being a heel. Like he just naturally gets heat. And like I said, and the thing is, like when it comes to his ring work, it's going by leaps and bounds. Like as we all know, his dad's a Hall of Famer. So what better way to kick off your career than to essentially take the torch from your dad? You know what I mean? So I see more out of him in the future. But this is certainly certainly a great start. Just start with things, and of course, for somebody like Rhea Ripley, that's phenomenal. That's very, very significant. So as far as that's concerned, that he is absolutely the diamond that's being shaped in the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I've always said this. People, they clown on Dominic, but I've been saying he's gonna be somebody huge in the future.
Yeah,
Like when I see him, I see Cody Rhodes when he first started, and if you look at the first videos of Cody wasn't as spectacular as he was now. Granted, he had a lot of heart, but he wasn't spectacular as he was now. He got his ass whooped by Randy Orton on the first night. He actually debuted on Raw. He was taking a lot of L's. He took an L from Hardcore Holly, but eventually the thing is he didn't give up. He kept on keeping on. He went through some transformations. He had he was part of Priceless. He was part of Legacy. Then he went on to become Dashing Cody Rhodes. Then he got his face smashed, and then he started doing the Norman Bates like American Psycho character. Then he became a Rhodes Scholar, and then all that helped him to become who he is.
Stardust as well.
Yeah, Stardust, which I do like the Stardust character. He should definitely keep that. It's not a bad character. If I were to book Cody, I would book him. I would book that Stardust character as a character that he brings out whenever just like how Finn Balor brings out the Demon, or Bray Wyatt brings out the Fiend. That's what that character should be for.
Yeah. I definitely see that, man. I certainly see that. But the thing about it is that people have revisionist history. What's up? Have revisionist history and forget that there was a point where Cody looked like a creative wrestler.
Right.
You know what I mean? So back when he was with Legacy, he did look like that. So
But eventually, he worked on himself, and fans got to understand too that starting in this business, everybody's not gonna be a big flash.
No.
Some people are gonna start off regular, basic, but eventually they'll add on and add on and add on, and then they'll eventually become, somebody great. But you just got to give them patience. You got to give them time. Everything takes time, and that's what a lot of fans got to realize. But I think Dominic Mysterio, he's the future of WWE, without a shadow of a doubt, and he's heading in the right direction. So, I just got two more questions before I turn over to Rob. Kind of Rob has a couple of questions about Marvel and DC and Star Wars. He's gonna ask you a bunch of nerd stuff like that. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, I like that stuff too. So, but so my second last question is in terms of wrestling. Did you ever get to meet any of the WWE wrestlers growing up, or WCW, or I don't know if you've been to AEW show yet, but have you ever gotten to meet any of the superstars like in person?
Oh yeah, I have. Yes, so like the main was I've met Bret Hart and I met Shawn Michaels. And so and it's so it's like I said, I met him during autograph signings, and so I know, like I said, I met Bret at autograph signing at a baseball stadium, like in this area, and met Shawn Michaels at Barnes and Noble. And so, so as far as that, and like I said, the fact that I could actually check off both those names on my list, like I said, it's just like, at this point, I don't mean to brag on myself, but can't nobody tell me nothing at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you met Brett, and especially you met HBK. I mean, that's huge. You know what I mean? So, and so as far as that, and also, I know at Wally Mania, I met Wes Lee. He's of course the American champion, and he's number 5, I believe, on the BRP 50. So, so he made the top 5 on the list. Congrats to him. So as far as that, like I said, those like the main. Also, I met Matt Hardy at a indie like a local indie show here in Maryland Championship Wrestling. So so of course I met him, and also when it comes to speaking of indie wrestlers, back in March, like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, I met Trish Adora.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it was that she was defending her championship against Darius Carter, and so the match ended in like a time ended in a draw, like a double count out or something like that. And not a draw, but like I said, so the match ended in a double count out. And but yeah, like I said, the fact that actually, the fact that I actually got to meet her. I also met O'Shea Edwards, aka Kaiju.
Big Bad Kaiju, yep.
Big Bad Kaiju. So as far as that, like I say, in between his matches, like during like autograph signs and stuff like that, things I was able to briefly chop it up with him. I see he's a really cool dude. I would love to have him on the podcast. Same with Trish as well. So as far as that, so I've met, like I said, I met the best of the best when it comes to WWE, and I've met some great indie talent as well.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's great that you got to meet them and so on.
And Big Swole as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Big Swole's cool people. I actually got to interview her, one of her best friends, Robin Golfin, on our show too. Really cool guy. Bret Hart, actually, I was very glad to meet him. I told him how, huge of a fan I was of his family. I told him so at that time, I've been dealing with podcasts for like 10 years now. And at that time, I'd actually booked, it was like, I think a week or 2 before, maybe even a month before, I booked his niece, Bronwyn Billington, who's the Dynamite Kid's daughter. And I was like, "Yo, I booked your niece, and she's cool people." I normally I'm calm, but for some reason with him, he's one of the people that I just completely like lost it. Like, because to see this man, like to grow up seeing him wrestle, and then you meet him, and it's just like so unreal. And then also Marty Jannetty, I got to meet him too. You got to meet him, and I got to meet Marty. Marty was cool people, and
too.
Yeah, man. I was like, yo, you were like one half of my first ever favorite tag team. I've only had three favorite tag teams. You and Sean, the American males, and London and Kendrick, and da 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 da. And I was like, just like yeah, that was like one of the greatest times of my life was when I met Marginetti. Like, I know a lot of people have differing opinions about him. Me personally, I think the whole thing of you calling somebody the Marginetti of the tag team is ignorance, because Marginetti is a guy that you could definitely learn a lot from if you're a tag team wrestler or a wrestler in general. And I would tell any tag team, if you're looking for a tag team to study, the Rockers would definitely be it, because they definitely set the bar high for a lot of tag teams. But yeah, that was definitely a great time as well. I also got to meet Trish Adora very briefly at Wally Mania, as well. I'm definitely glad she's getting the recognition that she deserves and so on. She definitely worked hard for it. So my last question: you got a top 50 of wrestlers, man. How did you? I think I barely have like 10, maybe 15.
Mhm.
But Rob, how many you got? You got a top 50 of wrestlers that you like? I think Rob frozen.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's probably frozen.
yeah.
But yeah, man, like how man, like how'd you do that, man? Because I don't think I come up with I got 50 that I enjoy watching, that I would definitely pay like money to see. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Tell us about that, man.
Man, all right, yeah. So so one, oh, by the way, Rob's back on, but yeah, but the thing is, like, when it came to this, I think it's just because of how passionate I am when it comes to wrestling, and how dedicated I am when it comes to it, and also just in the sense that, like I said, I'm big on history, I'm big on paying homage, and just things like that, and celebrating those who left the biggest uh, mark on wrestling, right? And so the thing is, because I'm always big on lists, where there's like, top 50 NBA players and 75, whatever, stuff like that. And plus, the thing is, WWE, and like I said, I'm gonna keep a long story short. What happened was, I remember like WWE had done their top 50 superstars list, and I was very much insulted by it. Stone Cold himself even said he disagreed with 85% of this. So that should tell you right there. And so I think it had nothing to do with him being number 3 on that list. But yeah, the thing about it was that, like I said, I'm somebody, I don't like to feel like my intelligence is insulted, right? And so and so the thing is, it's just like it's one of those things where, of course, it creates conversation, and also in a sense that it's like a passion project for me. You know what I mean? Because how much I enjoy wrestling, I want to at least recognize the people who I feel are the all-time greatest of the great. And what happened was, I originally did this back in 2015, and so
Right.
so over time, my perspective on things started to change, right? And so that had an impact on how I was coming on the list. So I've seen, Roman's rise. I've seen Seth Rollins, make his climb. I've seen Daniel Bryan, etch himself as a legend even more. You know what I mean? And so it's just like find out where guys like that fit among like the greatest of the great, because they're legends, or at least legends in the making in their own right. And so I feel like it's only right to include them in there as well. Um, and a lot of stuff I did a lot of research. I did a lot of evaluating, trying to find out who are the consensus choices. Like some of those ironclad like consensus names, and just putting them together, and just like kind of like evaluating. Like my criteria was pretty much like PWI, right? And so,
Right.
I'm not gonna keep things that much longer, but I'm just saying, like I said, I like my approach was, like I said, I've seen what PWI did. I've seen what lately what Black Wrestling's been doing with their top 50 Black wrestlers list and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and take some ideas from their presentation and incorporate it into mine. And so it's just like a matter of who checks off the most boxes, basically. You know what I mean? And so it's just like who's the biggest draw, the greatest title reigns, stuff like that. Your impact on the business and all, on the sport and everything like that. So, you know what I mean? Like it's just like I'm that much of a fan that I'm willing to like evaluate and see who in my view are the best of the best.
Right.
I mean,
it's a pretty impressive list. I see. You got names like Roddy Piper. You have a mixture of both. You have names like Roddy Piper. At the same time, you got names like Bryan Danielson and AJ Styles. So it's a pretty good list. But I always say, in terms of like people's top 50, I always say this: before the top 50, what is before the top 50? What's before the top 50? It's WBs, right? It's PWIs. It's whoever else is top 50. But that's not necessarily your top 50. That's not my top 50. It's not Rob's top 50. It's theirs. So
Right.
if that's their opinion, they are more than entitled to it. But it doesn't reflect my opinion. Some people may think The Rock is the greatest black champion. He's half black, half Samoan. But some people think The Rock is the greatest black champion in wrestling. Some people think, nah, man, it's Booker T. Some people may think it's Virgil. It wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
Some people may think that the best person on the mic is CM Punk. Some people may think, nah, that accolade goes to Kenny Omega. So I mean, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. So when I see lists like that, I'm like, yeah, that's nice, but it's WWE's. It's not mine. It's not mine.
Right.
So, but I tell you, kudos on that, on doing the top 50. Keep it up. We're looking forward to seeing who your top 50 women's wrestlers are.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully we see who your top, I guess, 50, if not top 50, at least top 40 tag teams are, and so on. I mean, keep it up, man. It's a great thing. It's a great thing that you did, man. And we appreciate you sending that to us, and keep up the great work, man, and keep the great work with Victorious Ones too. Definitely, looking forward to seeing y'all stay around for a while. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. I know Rob has a couple of questions for you. Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, Vaughn, man? How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, Rob? I'm doing great. How about you, man?
I'm doing well. We got a thunderstorm going through here, man. So if I'm asking questions and I'm off and on, and sometimes you hear boom or dogs barking, it's the storm. Nothing crazy going on.
Same here around here.
Okay, yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, because you're in DC and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. What you're getting now, I'm going to get like about an hour or so. Come back to it. So yeah, here we go. So man, yeah, you were talking about Bret Hart and stuff, man, being your favorite, man. The guy I started training with, for being a ref, ringing out and all that, man, his favorite was Bret Hart. And when we were going through training, we were learning stuff, about the business and all that. And one of the things he was sitting there, it's like, if we go up, I go up and meet Bret Hart and all that, he'd be like, oh yeah, you're in the business and all, because there's little things and all. I remember him saying, going, is that why he shook my hand like that? Is that why? No. I'm like, oh man, yeah, there you go. That's funny, yeah. And then also I had when I was growing up, one of my best friend, he lived like 2 houses down. He for some reason he hated Bret Hart. He acted like Bret Hart spit on his mom or something. Like, man, he was like Shawn Michaels 100%. I'm like, Bret Hart is good, man. Like, he's like, man, Bret Hart cannot work the mic and all. I'm like, he don't need to work the mic, man. He's all right. He's pat. He does his thing. But man, yeah, Bret Hart's good. I don't know what you're talking about, man. We used to argue all the time about that as kids. I'm like, how do you not like Bret Hart, man? All right.
Weird. Like even now, like 2023, like with the way people talk about him on the internet. I mean, you think they're talking about like Giant Gonzalez or something like that. You know what I mean? Or Ludwig Borg or something like that. Like, dude, this is Bret Hart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, and I think that's why whenever I get a chance, I defend him the way that I do. I like both him and Shawn Michaels. And the thing is, like a lot of people. In my area growing up, it was a huge especially like close friends I had, huge Shawn Michaels fans. I'm a huge HBK, fan myself as well. But like I said, I see the best in both of them. Because the thing is that it's like I feel like they complete each other. Since we're talking about not just wrestling, but also like comics and and culture and stuff like that. Let's say video games, for example. Let me use this example. We like Street Fighter, right?
Oh yeah.
Bret Hart is Ryu, or Ryu, however you pronounce it. Shawn Michaels is his kin. Mortal Kombat. Bret Hart Sub-Zero. Shawn Michaels is Scorpion. You can't tell the story of one without the other. You know what I mean? So the thing is, like, Bret has the strength when it comes to technical wrestling, when it comes to just natural, just ring general stuff. Shawn Michaels when it comes to athleticism, entertainment, you know what I mean? So, if anything, like Shawn's, we just got finished talking about my list. Was the thing is, Shawn edges Bret out when it comes to mic skills, and also when it comes to his longevity with like the second half of his career. But when it comes to just them straight up, I mean, that's a GOAT conversation in and of itself.
Oh yeah, I love watching them wrestle because they tell the perfect story. Every one of their matches, you know what I mean? You got the beginning, middle, end. They always wrap it up. You know what I mean? It's just like a story every single match. You know what I mean? That's why sometimes I'll watch matches. Wrestling nowadays. I'm like, they just want to do a bunch of crazy stuff. To get views and stuff. It's like, tell the story, man. I like the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe that's because I'm in my 40s now. I'm like, get off my lawn. So, but I'm all good. It's all good. So I gotta ask, are you have you checked out any Dark Side of the Ring, since it's been out, this season?
I have. I haven't like seen like any other like episodes like live per se, but I did hear a lot about the Chris Candido story and just how tragic that was. I'm messing things where like when it came to him in ECW, him and Tammy, and speaking of Shawn Michaels, he definitely played a pretty big part within that chapter, if you will, within that as well. So certainly had it's had dirt on his name as well. The thing, and also I'm looking forward to the Junkyard Dog, Dark Side of the Ring. So some things I seen the preview for that and how well it's been received. I'm like, yeah, that's something I really want to get into. I know like the biggest Dark Side of the Ring episode I've seen, like my number one is that plane ride episode. Like that. Oh, okay. That absolutely was that opened up the floodgates in so many different ways. You know what I mean? So like to the point where people's heads were rolling because of all the details that came out of that. But yeah, like as far as Dark Side of the Ring, like I said, the main one I kept up with was the story of Prince and Tammy, but I want to see the JYD episode coming up.
Oh yeah. I like Junkyard Dog. That's one of my mom's all-time favorite wrestlers. Junkyard Dog and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anytime if she hears, dun, 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 another one bites the dust. She like all JYD. You know what I mean? She thinks that. She used to come out to that song. He's like, here you go barking. I was like, that's for Mom.
yeah, because that was actually his song in the territories in Mid-South. So so by the time he got to WWF, they changed it.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, my mom and dad, they used to always be like, "Oh man, yeah, we saw Hulk Hogan right before he got famous and stuff." And my dad was always big on being a big wrestler, or if you were an amateur wrestler and all. He'd be like, "Bob Backlund, man, that guy, man, he was like an All-American and all this stuff. Bob Backlund was great." I'm like, "All right, Bob, yeah," and all this, yeah. He's always big on that.
Oh yeah. Bob Backlund was Kurt Angle before Kurt Angle.
That's right. But he didn't have the charisma as Kurt Angle, though. Kurt Angle was, he was funny as hell on the mic, man. Like, the first day one, man, I was like, yeah, this guy is it. This is my guy. I like Angle.
Absolutely.
Oh man, he was great. Yes. Another one. I want to see the JYD episode. I want to see the Bam Bam episode. Because I want to see. Because I heard that. I want to see if they tell that story. Because I remember hearing a story where he saved his like wife and kids. When their house was burning down. And he stopped, ran in there, saved them and stuff. I want to go, because he was a literal hero. I want to hear about that stuff.
Wow,
I like Bam Bam. You know, from Major Payne, fighting Lawrence Taylor, you know what I mean? Oh man, all that stuff.
Bam Bam was that dude, man. Seriously.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, ECW. I loved it. Because anytime I hear greetings, from Asbury Park, I had Joey Styles in my head. Greetings, greetings. Just
Like the WrestleMania arcade game, and I think I meant to ask. I don't want to start the tables, but there's been a little bit of a discussion online. Bam Bam Bigelow or Vader?
I say, man, power wise, Vader, man, because Vader, yeah, probably Vader, but Bam Bam can definitely, man, 'cause Vader can get up there too, man. Oh, you don't want to sell Vader short. I'll go Vader. Vader probably scared me more if I was like a kid and stuff. It's like, man, who's scarier? The dude with the, Matt.
Sup, Knox? Bam Bam. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, that's one of my buddies.
Man, that's kind of tough, but I'm gonna have to go with Vader. I'm a definitely have to go with Vader. Bam Bam. Don't get me wrong. To me, he was agile as well. I think he may have been even more agile than Vader, because the brother was doing cartwheels and he was doing moonsaults and stuff. But Vader had the power, and yeah, I'll definitely have to give it to Vader. I'll definitely go with Vader.
Yeah, man. It's just like Bam Bam, like you said, was more agile. Cartwheels, you can't deny, like especially if you see his early WWF work as well as like the stuff he did in Japan. I mean, that was like next to none. It's like Vader, that was just straight up pain. You know what I mean? That was, the fact that he cracked Sting's ribs, the fact that with the way he powerbombed Cactus Jack at ringside and things like that. It's the pain that Vader causes is stuff of legend. But like I said, just when it comes to just a pure athlete, I gotta go with Bam Bam. But just when it comes to just dominance and just from a career standpoint, I gotta go with Vader.
Yeah, Vader was that guy, man. Yeah, Vader was a beast. I remember him on WCW when I was a kid. Like he would come out there Saturday, 6:05, and Sunday, whatever 5:05, 6:05. Because TBS always had that 5-minute starting time, man. So, yeah, I always remember that Vader. Yeah, I remember them bloody matches. Yeah, Sting. Yeah, Cactus Jack. Just he used to go. Oh,
gosh, tell me about it. Shoot.
Now you were talking earlier about your podcast and stuff, man. So tell us about how you started that and what came up with that. How you got started with doing the podcast. When can we when are usually new shows out and all that good stuff.
Yeah. All right. So all right, great. So all right. So So here it goes. The podcast has started last year in January of 2022, and so the thing is, because of the fact that I've been in the podcast, game for for at least like 10 years. Like when it comes to being a social media producer, and stuff like that. And the thing is, like I even tried to do a podcast like much early on, like back in 2012, but I wasn't really ready at the time. And so the thing is, of course, I listened to other podcasts. I got connected, with a buddy of mine. Of course, Bill's perplexed name's Mike Knox. He left a comment. He's the one that gave the Bam Bam comment. So the thing is, the thing is like, because he was the one who helped me with, discover my voice, have a platform and stuff like that. And so, and so the thing about it was that not only was I been doing behind the scenes work for years, but also, like I said, I listen to other podcasts, I watch others, and so I would take notes of what to do and what not to do, and just and also, like, for me, it got to a point where I was hear so many like crazy like hot takes, was just like, dude, if I'll say it like this, if they could do it, so can I. Not to brag on myself, it's not being arrogant, but I felt like, look, there's so many people that get behind the microphone, and I hear them. I'm like, if they could do it, I could do the same thing. You know what I mean? And people just like, of course, like I said, even though it's for conversation, but there's certain, just like ridiculous takes I hear people, put out there, whether it's on a show, on Twitter, and I was like, you know what? Now it's time to press the button. And finally just get this thing going. So my podcast it's all about variety. You know what I mean? So the thing about my show is it has variety of topics, whether it's wrestling, uh, comics, like Marvel, movie stuff, basketball, football, whatever, stuff like that. So it's just like a lot of it's based off of whatever's like the big topic at that moment. At least, and I definitely want to make sure that that keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on. And so as far as like whenever when you when a new when new episode comes out each week, the thing is typically I do my show on Wednesdays at 8:05 ish, and so of course, just like with your platform, I use StreamYard. You know what I mean? And so I have a stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And so as far, and also since we're on the topic of this week is going to be my 100th episode.
Ooh, okay. Anything special coming on for that, man?
All right. So as far as that, I'm just going to just going to cover like the ups and downs, of the last 100 episodes, as far as like my favorite things to talk about, as far as, and also what I would like to do in the future, and also like when it comes to as far as like venturing into like into doing like merchandise, as far as like shirts and things like that. So that's the next arena I really want to tap into. So the thing is, I definitely definitely have people in my corner. At least in that aspect. So so I just so my thing is just really just stay tuned. You know what I mean? So that's what that is. I'm looking forward to at least expanding my horizons as far as like the quality of guests that I want to bring on my podcast as well. So really
sounds good, man.
Thank you.
100 episodes, man. That's doing something, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of people don't even make it that far, man. Some people don't even get to 20. They're like, oh, I'm good. 100. Woo!
And exactly. And the thing about it was that it's the fact that it's a solo sort of run podcast, but but at the same time I still have support, if you will. You know what I mean? What the thing about it is it's still under an umbrella. You know what I mean? So I still have some people that I kind of like bounce ideas off of and things like that. But the thing about it is that like when it's as far as like on the show wise, when it's like solo run, you do 100 episodes. It almost feel like yesterday. Like even almost felt like yesterday, or even this beginning of the year that I started. Mm-hmm. It almost feels like that, but to make it to, I mean, to get to that point, I mean that's like I said, I'm surprised, like I'm even surprised in myself that I'm saying that.
I know, man. Hey, I don't blame you, man. I feel the same way when we had on this. So I was like, really? Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got to talk to 100 people or whatever. That's cool. Yeah. Man, I'm always for that. So I guess you touch on everything, man. So I guess you had to talk about Zion Williamson a little bit and stuff, man. You had to touch on that, right?
Not yet. You know what I mean?
Not yet. Okay. I got you, man.
You know what?
I just had to bring that up, man, because I hear that stuff in the story. I'm just like, oh man, this is funny. These young guys, man. Oh man, come on.
It's like the thing is, it's just almost like borderline comic, just how much nonsense it is. Just like, okay, you know what, man? Seriously.
That's right.
Just entertainment.
Yeah, I gotta ask you. Like you're saying, you do all kinds. Or not crazy stuff, but variety of stuff. Movies, basketball, football, all that stuff. So I do gotta ask you about movies and TV shows, man, because I'm always trying to find something new to watch. Because I'll watch the same stuff over and over again, like comfort shows, So is there anything new that you've seen, you could recommend? Like, honestly, I just finished The Righteous Gemstones. Or caught up with that on HBO, but that show is like, it's funny and it's pretty good, So yeah, check that out.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. I know, I know the show that really just started tapping into. They actually started last week, and so for those that watch Disney Plus, Marvel's Secret Invasion.
Ooh, yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh yeah,
I want to.
the thing is, I highly recommend it. So the thing is, it's certainly the genesis to me for like when it comes to Secret Wars. The fact that the Skrulls are the central, like the central, the Skrulls and Nick Fury are the central characters in this show. And so the thing is, I'm always looking for for the best, sort of like Marvel related content. So I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I've been waiting for the show to premiere. This, like I said, it came out last week on June 21st, and so I was like, okay, like I remember when I saw the first episode, I was like, that'll be the best yet to come. And when it comes to movies, what was it? Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
It's absolutely amazing. In fact, I even did a review episode about that, and so like I said, I love that movie. I would probably give it a slight edge over Into the Spider-Verse, but it's really, really hard to say. Like I said, when it comes to animation, when it comes to the depth of the storyline, and it's set up great things when it comes to the trilogy. It just with the way they left you for a cliffhanger. I mean, like I said, it's for me, it's got to be the best when it comes to like superhero movies and stuff. That like right now, it's got to be the best out there at this point for me.
Yeah, I like the first one, the Miles Morales one. He's probably my favorite Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Yeah, I like him better than Peter Parker, man. So,
man.
I haven't seen this one. I haven't seen the new one, but I'll definitely. I am going to check it out whenever next time I'm able to.
Miles carries the franchise. I'd love to see it.
Mm-hmm. The recent movie I watched, I think newest one was Avatar 2. And I don't like this Avatar movie, man. That was I couldn't remember the first one. I remembered it it was like, oh, it looked good, but I was like, yeah, I don't remember it. So then they started this off, and I was like, oh, I gotta know like everything that happened in one. And I'm trying to watch it, and I was like, no, this movie ain't for me. It looks good, and I'll give them that. It looks good and all, but I'm good.
I wasn't into it, so so the fact that it passed apparently past Endgame, the fact that it was the movie that Endgame had to beat to be number one on the all-time box office. I look at it, I was like, ain't no way that they had to take Endgame that long just to pass it up on the box office list. I'm like, because they don't even compare. It's not even night and day.
Yeah. The only thing I remember about the first one was when the two avatars or whatever, when they would hook up, they would take their ponytails and link it up. But then also when they rode their horse, they would take their ponytails and link it up with the horse too. So I was like, I questioned that whole thing right there. Like, yo, what are they doing to these horses? You know what I mean? Like, nah, man, this ain't right. So
I know, right? Exactly.
I don't know if they did it in this one. I can't remember. But I just remember being like, oh yeah, this ain't my movie. No. Evil Dead Rise or whatever. That one, I watched that. That was real good. The cheese grater. The cheese grater. That's all I gotta say. I don't want no spoilers. Just, whew.
So is that part of the franchise, like with Ash? So is that like the same Evil Dead as like Ash Williams and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's in the same universe, but he's not in this movie or whatever. It's so I think it's like this one's in the city. They're not in the country now. Like it's in an apartment building and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I might watch it again tonight. Cause I really like those Evil Dead movies and stuff. And Ash versus Evil Dead. Yeah, I like those movies.
And
I'm good.
In fact, his birthday. I mean, interrupt, but Bruce Campbell's birthday was actually last week.
Oh, okay, nice. That's awesome, man. I like Bruce Campbell. Yeah, he does some good stuff, man. Maniac Cop. I remember that one, man. That was good. So, man, before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say, thank you very much, coming on the podcast, chat about wrestling, all that good stuff, a little bit about movies, man. I wish you nothing but the best in all your future endeavors, man. I hope your podcast, start blowing up. You get all the views that you need, man. You get all the guests and everybody that you want on your show and all that good stuff, man. I wish nothing but positive things for you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm humble.
King Vaughn, thank you very much for, taking time out of your busy schedule, to be on our show. We really and truly appreciate it. We always enjoy talking to our fellow fans as well, too. Hey, don't go too far, man, because you might want to, we're probably going to have you back on here for one of our predictions episodes or one of our topics episodes. So definitely, watch out for that as well, too. It does happen. But, before we shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media? when they want to talk wrestling, check out your podcast, purchase, and also purchase Victorious One's merchandise whenever you release it as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I've been looking forward to this. So of course, on social media, you can follow me on Twitter at 301 King Vaughn Jr. You can follow the show's Twitter page at Victory Pod One. On Instagram, I'm at Mr. King Vaughn Jr. You can follow the show's Instagram page at Victorious Ones Podcast. And of course, you know what I mean. So for my show, like I said before, it takes place on Wednesdays. Usually like 8:05, and so of course when it comes to the merchandise, it's gonna be on. Look out for very soon. I have a Big Cartel website, for that, and so so as far as that, like I said, when it comes to social media handles, like I said, those are the places we follow and chat when it comes to wrestling and all things in between, pretty much.
So y'all definitely heard, he's on social media. Definitely give him a follow. Check out his show. I always say it's great to check out different podcasts because everybody has, different opinions, different respectful opinions, I like to think, on, certain subject matters and so on. So, definitely check him out. Also check out the merch he has as well too. And, support, man. We don't just do this for clout. We don't just do this for, we don't just do this for show or anything. We do this because, we love this business. We love pro wrestling, and we want to share our love with y'all. So definitely, check them out, and see what Victorious Ones, is about as well too. And with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. We actually have another show coming up in less than an hour at 9:00. So y'all don't go anywhere too far. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. We really and truly appreciate it. Let's see. So would that be so? Man, we hardly do double shows, so this kind of throws me off. But with that being said, before we shut this show down, Rob Bass, where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, purchase Rob Bass merchandise, find out when your next appearance is, and where can bookers or promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows as well?
All right, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Rob_Bass82, and then Facebook Rob Bass. And July 7th, 1CW, we're back in Houston to our hometown. We'll be having a show. I don't know all the matches going on right yet, so definitely stay tuned. And then the next week, I think the 14th or 15th, we're back in Selbyville, and we're going to have a brand new championship on the line, the Delmarva Sports Network Championship. And definitely come down to see us. If you can't come to the show, we're on, Comcast, I think channel 200, 201. You can download the app, DelmarvaSportsNet.com. We're on at 10 a.m. every Saturday morning, just like the old school days. Catch some local wrestling. You might even see me reffing or ring announcing something one day. So, definitely check us out. That's DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com, or you can get the app. Check it out on either one.
Yeah, so if y'all are actually in the Delmarva area, head on down to 1CW. They're doing a lot of great things, a lot of impressive men and women there. Who knows? You might even see the next big AEW superstar from there. So go out there, support. They're in Houston, they're in Selbyville. Definitely a great show to check out. And I'm not joking about that. Like, I actually got to check out a show of theirs one of these days. But if you want to find me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool stuff, but I do go to a lot of cool places every now and then. You can definitely find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue as well. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society, Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. We're also on Spotify, and we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts, we have tank tops, we have hoodies, we have long sleeve shirts, we even have pillows and coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage as well. We have a lot of designs. We're actually about to drop our 7th design, and not only our 7th, our first ever pro wrestler inspired design as well too. Yes, that's right. It was actually inspired by one of our alumni guests. that have actually been on our show before. If you can guess who, I'm gonna give you a hint. If you can guess who he is, um, definitely you'll definitely get a free shirt. Another hint I'll drop is that he actually started off on 15 Minutes of Fandom, and he also went on to become a promoter. That's all I'm gonna give you. The rest is if you can guess that, good for you. You'll definitely get a free shirt. But we'll be dropping the new shirt real soon, and we got a lot more designs coming up. So trust me, this is not the last one. But once again, also all proceeds from those sales go back into keeping our show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. And last but not least, we also have a YouTube channel where we have cool 50 minutes of Fandom episodes like this one, like the one we recently had with Faction Cast, those wrestling girls, and many other great men and women that are fans of pro wrestling, and many other great men and women that are actually in the industry as pro wrestlers, promoters, referees, ring announcers, etc. You can find all those great episodes on our YouTube channel. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society, and once you see that really gorgeous dark blue and light blue yin yang sound with the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos, because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, especially in less than an hour, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in live tonight. Thank you. Really and truly appreciate it. We strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could and should listen to. To those of you that are going to listen later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we're not going anywhere for a while. Oh, Rob, you there?
Oh, my bad. I just came back in, man.
Yeah. So, so with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we here at Ringside Side, we're very well, and we're everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for the Victorious Ones podcast, and one time for the host, King Vaughn Resper Jr.
Woo!
Woo! What type of podcast are we?
We're a Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back in less than an hour, so don't go too far with another impressive guest. A matter of fact, Rob, should I tell him? Should I tell him?
Yes, you can.
Should I tell him?
Yes, you can. Yes,
Our next guest in an hour, less than an hour, 9 o'clock p.m. from our East Coast homies, West Coast, 6 o'clock p.m. from our West Coast riders, and which will be 7 o'clock p.m. from our 8 o'clock p.m. from my people in the middle. We'll be having, hailing from the Empire State, New York, where I'm actually at, is the Cotton Candy Princess, Tiffany Avatar. She'll be making her appearance on our podcast in less than an hour. So make sure you actually tune in for that, because it's going to be interesting to hear what she has to say about starting her journey in pro wrestling and facing powerful opponents like Nakoma Tala and many other impressive, opponents as well. So stay tuned for that. But until then, we just want y'all to do 4 favors for us. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.